Milwaukee is a tale of two counties. And when I think about, what the past has taught me and my administration is really you need everybody at the table. You can't do this work alone and in your own vacuum. I think about the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, bring others with you. And I think that's extremely important, particularly when you think about government and where we have been as a community historically. And so for me, it's really about making sure that we have as many people at the table, inclusive voices, different experiences, different backgrounds, so we can elevate everybody's voice throughout this community. We have to apply this equity lens because one of the things I talked about before is that historically, voices were excluded from being a part of this process. And so we want to make sure that we continue to look through a racial equity lens. Our mission right here within Milwaukee County is that by achieving racial equity, we can become the healthiest county in the state of Wisconsin. And we want to make sure that all of our decision-making is viewed through that racial equity lens to make sure that we're lifting everybody up. When we have the opportunity to lift up from the bottom, we lift up everybody, no matter where they live or what they look like. And that's what we are embarking on. And it's a great journey. It's definitely a challenging journey, but we know that this is the path that we need to be on in order to make sure that Milwaukee County can continue down this road of prosperity.
So just because the president isn't on the ballot doesn't mean it's not important to vote, because these touch you closer than the president does.
I like to say that local government is the closest to the people, and Milwaukee County is so important because we provide the day-to-day services that people need and depend on to live healthy and happy lives. So if our county government isn't functioning well, then our constituents' lives aren't able to function well.
And I just have to say that I appreciate you all and thank you all, because if not for you, I wouldn't be here on this stage. So thank you.
Representation is important because you can't meet the needs of the people if you don't look like the people, if you don't come from the people. So it's important to have a diverse cabinet so that everyone can feel like their voices and their opinions are being heard and advanced.
Racial equity work or any kind of equity work is about building relationships. And your positioning where you are within an institution or in government or a business doesn't really matter where you are and what you do. It's really about building relationships. And so it's important to have someone within the system who is skilled at facilitating relationship building, who can help people go through a process to learn and unlearn the things that they've learned and things that we've been conditioned to do, but then roll out a process that allows us to work with each other, to build relationships with each other so that we can have some dialogue with each other and learn from each other. And that's really the emphasis of the work, is to change hearts and minds. And you can't change hearts and minds if you don't build relationships with people.
Me being closest to the people, I hear every day that they're saying that they want to be at the center of our decision making. They want to be at the center of how we continue to build our communities, because they understand what they want in order to thrive. And so making sure their voices are at the center is how we continue to make Milwaukee a greater place for all. Setting a tone for me looks like continuing to lead on issues that are important to our constituencies. It's being the first to declare racism a health crisis in the nation. It's being the first to provide demographic data around COVID-19 deaths and illnesses. And it's making sure that we're putting our people at the center and advocating what they need, as opposed, again, to the status quo, and meeting the obligations to our communities.
I think for me, it's extremely important that we embed a lot of the work that we're doing within the policy so the next county executive doesn't try to change it. The work that we're focusing on is about the future trajectory of this community. It's not about a political agenda. This is about the people and the residents of Milwaukee County, visitors and home residents alike. And so for us, this is extremely exciting. Being the youngest and the first African-American in this position, to really change county government to focus on those who have historically been underserved. It's time for us to set a tone in Milwaukee, because Milwaukee is changing. And not just Milwaukee is changing, but the state of Wisconsin is changing. Right here in Milwaukee, we are the largest and most diverse community in the state. And we're also the economic engine of the state, and we're going to continue to be an economic asset. But while we set the tone for Milwaukee, it sets the tone also for the state of Wisconsin. And so the better that we do, the better the state does. And so it's clear that we need to do something different. And this new tone that has been set and will be set, even with the new leadership happening at the city level, I think is going to inspire many more people to get more involved.